Picture this: a regular vault supervisor at Loomis Fargo, handling millions every day, but barely scraping by on $8 an hour. That's David Ghantt's life, and it's driving him crazy. Surrounded by mountains of cash, yet broke at home. Talk about frustration. Enter Kelly, a coworker who catches David's eye. They start flirting, and before you know it, they're more than just colleagues. Around this time, David hears about another Loomis Fargo heist in a different state. Millions stolen, and the robber still on the loose. That's when the wheels start turning for David and Kelly. Kelly brings in an old friend, Chambers. He's a shady character, but he's got connections. The three of them start plotting, and suddenly, David's frustration has an outlet. They're going to pull off the biggest heist in US history. Fast forward a few months, and it's go time. David finishes his shift, sneaks back into the building, and heads straight for the vault. Over the next 90 minutes, he loads up a Loomis van with a staggering $17 million in cash. That's right, $17 million. But here's where things start to unravel. Before leaving, David grabs the security tapes. Smart move, right? Well, not so fast. In a moment of panic or distraction, he forgets those tapes inside the van. Rookie mistake, David. They meet up with Chambers and Kelly, ready to transfer the money into a rental van. But there's a problem. It doesn't all fit. They're forced to leave behind $3.3 million, along with those incriminating tapes. Talk about a massive error. David's next move, he hops a flight to Mexico to lay low. But here's the kicker. US law limits how much cash you can carry across the border. So our mastermind thief only takes $50,000 with him. That's right, out of $17 million, he ends up with just 50 grand. Meanwhile, back home, things are heating up. David's wife reports him missing, not knowing he's sunning himself in Mexico. The FBI finds the abandoned van stacked with millions and those forgotten tapes. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what happened. But while David's sipping margaritas, Chambers is living it up back in the States. We're talking mansions, Rolexes, fancy cars. He's even splurging on cosmetic surgery. Subtle, right? Kelly, on the other hand, plays it low-key. But her affair with David links her to the scheme, and the FBI is closing in. Now, here's where things take a dark turn. The FBI sets up a wiretap and catches Chambers plotting to kill David. Apparently, honor among thieves isn't what it used to be. David goes from mastermind to potential victim in the blink of an eye. The arrests come swift and hard. David, Kelly, Chambers, and nearly 20 others find themselves in handcuffs. The dream of easy money turns into a nightmare of prison cells and court dates. Sentences range from 6 to 11 years, depending on their involvement. But here's the kicker. Even after all the arrests and convictions, around $2 million is still missing to this day. It's like the cherry on top of this bizarre Sunday of a heist. Where's that money? Who has it? We may never know. So, what can we learn from David Ghantt's wild ride? First off, if you're going to steal millions, maybe don't forget the evidence in the getaway van. Second, be careful who you trust. Your partners in crime might just be plotting your demise. And finally, maybe just stick to your day job, even if it only pays $8 an hour. This story has it all. Greed, romance, betrayal, and a whole lot of cash. It's like a Hollywood movie, but it actually happened. David Ghantt went from frustrated vault supervisor to infamous thief, all because he couldn't resist the temptation of those millions he handled every day. In the end, was it worth it? The brief taste of wealth, the thrill of the heist, the sunny beaches of Mexico, all traded for years behind bars. David and his crew learned the hard way that crime doesn't pay, at least not in the long run. But you've got to admit, it makes for one heck of a story. From the initial frustration to the elaborate plan, the nail-biting heist to the lavish spending spree, and finally, the dramatic arrests. It's a roller coaster ride from start to finish, and let's not forget about those missing millions. It's like the final twist in this real-life thriller. Somewhere out there, a couple $1 million are still unaccounted for. Who knows? Maybe one day, years from now, someone will stumble upon a hidden stash and solve the last piece of this puzzling heist. So, the next time you're feeling underpaid and overworked, remember David Ghantt. Sure, $8 an hour isn't great, but it beats a prison cell. And if you do decide to pull off a multi-million-dollar heist, for goodness sake, don't forget the security tapes. In the end, David Ghantt's story is a cautionary tale wrapped in an action movie. It's a reminder that real life can be stranger than fiction, and that sometimes the biggest heists aren't pulled off by seasoned criminals, but by ordinary people pushed to extraordinary lengths. From vault supervisor to vault robber, David Ghantt's journey is one for the history books. It's a story of ambition gone wrong, of the thin line between frustration and criminality, and of the high price of easy money. So, the next time you're handling cash at work, whether it's $8 or $8 million, remember David Ghantt. Remember the thrill of the heist, the weight of those millions, and the cold reality of the consequences. Because in the world of high-stakes robbery, one small mistake, like forgetting a few security tapes, can be the difference between living large and living behind bars. And who knows, maybe someday someone will stumble upon those missing millions. Until then, David Ghantt's heist remains one of the most fascinating, frustrating, and frankly unbelievable crimes in U.S. history. It's a reminder that truth really is stranger than fiction, and that sometimes the biggest thrills come with the biggest bills.